Okay, so big news. England's entire planning system is getting a massive shakeup. The government's just dropped a brand new rule book, and seriously, it's set to completely change how and where we build, well, everything for years to come. So let's dive in and take a closer look at what this all really means. It all kicks off with this number, 1.5 million. Yep, that's the huge target for new homes the government's aiming for. And you know what? It's pretty much the single driving force behind this entire overhaul. The big question is, how on earth do we even get there? Well, the government's answer is to completely rewrite the National Planning Policy Framework, or the NPPF, as you'll often hear it called. And let's be clear, this isn't just a little tweak here and there. Nope. We're talking about a whole new system basically built from the ground up for speed, for certainty, and, above all else, for growth. So what is the big idea here? What's the thinking behind all this? At its heart, it's a complete philosophical shift in how planning decisions get made right across the country. You see, the system we have now is what's known as discretionary. That means local councils all write their own plans, which, as you can imagine, often leads to these endless debates, all sorts of local variations, and some really long delays. The new system, it's designed to be rules-based, so national policies will be hardwired right into the framework. This creates a kind of default yes to development in certain designated areas. Now, in theory, this should speed everything up a lot. But the question is, will it actually work? To make this pretty radical shift happen, the government has put together a powerful toolkit of 12 key policy changes. Let's pop the hood and see what's inside. And well, as you can see, the changes are extensive. They cover everything from boosting local economies and supporting heritage sites, all the way to a new vision for transport. Now, we're not going to be able to cover all 12 today, so for this explainer, we're going to zoom in on just a few of the most significant and maybe the most controversial proposals. So let's start with what is, arguably, the most radical shift of them all, a brand new approach to the Greenbelt. For decades, this land has been seen as pretty much untouchable. Well, it looks like that's all about to change. This reform introduces an entirely new concept into the planning world, the Grey Belt. So what exactly is it? Grey belts is basically land that's currently in the green belt but isn't really pulling its weight. Think of old disused petrol stations or derelict scrubland, not beautiful rolling hills. And crucially, as the slide notes, this definition specifically excludes environmentally important areas. So we're not talking about national landscapes or sites of special scientific interest. The clear aim here is to target that low-quality land without harming valuable nature. This slide shows the new pecking order for development. Councils will now be expected to release land in this exact order. First, you look at any previously developed land in the green belt. If that's not enough, second, you move on to this new gray belt category. And only then, as an absolute last resort, should any other green belt land even be considered. But, and this is a big but, releasing this land comes with some very big strings attached. Any major housing development on released greenbelt land will have to follow 3 golden rules. First, a target of 50% affordable housing, which is a huge increase. Second, the development has to fund the necessary infrastructure. We're talking new schools, doctors' surgeries, and roads. And third, it must provide or improve public green space for the community. Now, these reforms are not just about the greenbelt. Let's head over to the railway lines, where another new policy is designed to create that default yes for development, this time around train stations. Okay, so this policy creates a powerful presumption in favor of building homes near what they're calling well-connected stations. And get this, even if that land is in the Greenbelt. To qualify, a station has to be in one of the top 60 economic areas in the country and be served by at least 4 trains an hour. If a site ticks those boxes, the traditional barriers to development are, in effect, removed. So what's the catch? Well, this policy is also designed to tackle low-density urban sprawl. For these schemes near well-connected stations, there's a new minimum density of 50 dwellings per hectare. Just to give you a sense of scale, a hectare is about the size of a rugby pitch. So this really makes sure that this valuable, well-located land is used as efficiently as possible. All right, beyond these big housing initiatives, the reforms also include a bunch of other changes that are designed to ripple out through the economy and society. Let's take a look at how they plan to support people and businesses. First up is a brand new category called medium development, and this is for sites between 10 and 49 homes. This is specifically designed to help those smaller, local builders get back in the game and compete with the big national players. And one of the biggest ideas to help them is this concept of cash in lieu payments. So what does that actually mean? Well, it means smaller builders could just make a cash payment to the council instead of having to provide the affordable homes on site themselves. This removes a major logistical and financial hurdle that can often completely stall their projects. The reforms also want to make sure we're building a more diverse mix of homes, especially for our aging population. So there's a new, much clearer expectation that at least 40% of all new housing has to be built to higher accessibility standards. That means things like wider doorways, step-free access, and even reinforced walls ready for grab rails, making sure we are meeting the needs of older and disabled people. And finally, there's a big potential change for businesses, the sequential test, which basically forces developers to prioritize town centers for new projects that would be kept for things like new shops and leisure facilities. But what about offices and other commercial uses? The government is thinking about removing it completely to give sectors like data centers and life science labs way more flexibility on where they can set up shop. What do you think? Is that a good idea? So, after looking at all these changes, from gray belts to golden rules, what's the final blueprint? When you put it all together, what does it really mean for the future of where you live and where you work? Ultimately, it all comes back to this. Every single one of these policies is designed to achieve two core things: to supercharge economic growth and to hit that massive target of 1.5 million new homes. It's a really bold vision, and it's all about creating a faster, more certain, rules-based system. The plan is definitely ambitious. It's aiming to unlock development and streamline decisions on a scale we really haven't seen before. But it leaves us with a critical question to think about. Will this new blueprint actually build the future we need? Or are the trade-offs, especially around local control and the sanctity of the Greenbelt, simply too great? The answer to that question is going to shape England for generations to come.